Hello there, welcome back to Planet Zoo and our safari park. Thank you very much for joining me today. I always appreciate your company. So in the last episode we finished off our first area over here. This corner of the park is all done and dusted, or roughly. There's details here and there that will be added, but on the whole that area is now done. So we are now moving on to our next island, and I've already started a little bit of work over here. So as you can see, I've put in our second bridge. This is the main path and the main structure of the whole park, so I wanted to get that in place straight away, so I could I know exactly where it is, and then I can be building around it. So that's our big bridge going right over to this main island over here. And as you can see, I've now done our second track ride. So I'm using the same construction building here for the cover. I don't mind reusing the building because it's what I want. It's a good looking building. It works. It fits perfectly around the station. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy reusing that. And then it meanders, it goes all over the place, so obviously I need to do a lot of landscaping around it. But as you can see, it starts off coming down this slope here, down the side of the cliff, snakes around here, going down, so it goes down into the ground a little bit here, then it will come slowly up around here, nice raised area, so there'll be lots of rocks and things all around here. Then along here, in between these two islands are they islands? They're land islands, I suppose. I don't know, little cliff areas, raised areas. I don't know what they're called. Hills. There we go. Let's call them that. So these hills aren't going to be accessible by people, so there's not going to be any bridge or anything coming over. I may in fact change them a little bit so the animals can get up there. So I may actually slope this bit off here so the animals can come up. And then I might do something similar with this one, actually put a slope up the back side here so that animals can come up on top. And then it loops around the front here. So this area here will be fairly open, I imagine, alongside the river. Not too sure, but I don't want to block the views too much. And then it just snakes around, comes along here, around by the river, and then just slowly raises up as it comes around this final bend, up here, back up the hill, around the top here, and back into the station. So there we go. So this already presents one issue, and that is that obviously the entrance and exit are here and the path is over here. So I'm going to have to create some sort of bridge over here for people to walk over to access the ride. It's a bit different. I did it on purpose. I could have obviously put the entrance and exit on this side, so I didn't have to do that, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to challenge myself a bit and create some sort of bridge. So that is something I'm going to have to work on. But the first thing that I will work on is my viewing platform that I want to build on this end here, because this is just crying out for some sort of a viewing platform. Because if you think about that view, I mean, look at that. You'd want to be standing here looking over that view, wouldn't you? That is going to be stunning, especially once it's full of animals. So yeah, so that is my theory. So I think that's probably what I'm going to work on next. Excuse me. So let me go away now and crack on with that. Okay, so the basic shape of my viewing platform is now here, and I know what you're thinking looking at this. There's no viewing platform. What is he talking about? Well, let me show you. Because this is no ordinary viewing platform. So you come along here, and obviously you can stand here and think, oh yeah, that's a pretty view, isn't it? Or, you come down these stairs here, and you find this lovely balcony, which snakes around the edge of the cliff here. I've even put a couple of little cafes down here, with this lovely wall sort of built into the cliff, and so it snakes all the way around here, and then it comes up the other side and joins back up at the top. I mean, you could stand, well, let me zoom out and show you what it looks like. So there we go. So that was my thinking. It was that I wanted a platform built into the side of the cliff, with the cliff actually, the land sort of hanging over the top here. because if you were standing on here, look at the view. I mean, it gets you a bit lower. That's what I wanted. I specifically wanted a platform which was a little bit closer to the ground than the one that I did over here, particularly here because you've got this shallow area of water here, so you're going to get a lot of animals sort of just wading through here. Things like the flamingos that like to walk in the water, hippos. Certainly, the hippos don't like deep water; they like the shallow stuff, so they're more likely to be walking around in here. So yeah, so I wanted it to be low to the ground, not so low that you feel like you're on the ground. I mean, even the giraffe will not be able to get up here. I may well do some sort of platform, maybe on one of the other islands, which gets you even lower, maybe to the height of the giraffes. Would be kind of cool. Maybe there'll be some sort of a giraffe feeding area where you can come down and actually feed the giraffes. That'd be kind of cool. But for now, I just wanted this design. This was my design for this one. So I think it's gonna look nice. There's a lot of work I still need to do to it. Obviously supports. I still want to work on this edge here because obviously I just can't leave this as just mud hanging over here because that doesn't look right. So there's going to be some rock work, lots of decoration. Yeah, so there's a lot to do, but the basic structure is there, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. I haven't done anything else anywhere over here yet. That's going to wait. I'm gonna focus on this area here first. And obviously I wanted cafes here. One, because in real life there would be some cafes down here. You'd come down here, you'd have maybe some tables along here where you can actually sit down and eat some food. But obviously, as far as the game's concerned, you need a reason for the guests to actually come down here. And if there's food and drink that they can buy, that's why they would come here. So yeah, that's my theory. Right, so let me go away again and get on with some more. Okay, so I've done quite a lot of work here, so let me explain what's what. Well, you can probably see it's fairly self-explanatory really. So I've done some rock work along here. I wanted it to look really solid with this overhang, and just putting all these sort of flat rocks along here, I think that looks really nice, creates a really nice solid looking roof. So yeah, really pleased with how that has turned out. I've made these little shelters. These are very simple. These are just single piece things with a beam in the middle, as sunshades, because it's a very exposed area here. So you would want some shade, certainly, for people to stand under while they're looking out at the animals. Talking of looking out at the animals, look at these. So it's 28 objects in this. This is something I downloaded. I can't off the top of my head remember who created them, but I will remember and hopefully link it in the description if I remember. But they are wonderful looking telescopes, aren't they? Look at that. Looks like a little face. It's brilliant. Oops, hang on. There we go. So yeah, so these are just superb. I love them. I absolutely love them. These are the best ones that I found on the workshop. And they just look fantastic. So I've put them there. Let me just show you. I've also added them. Oh my word, I am going all over the place with this camera work today, aren't I? I've also added them over here. So you've got one there, you've got two there, one there, and they are also up here in our viewing tower. So they're all around the viewing tower. I've even put them facing, out this way, even though you're not going to be able to see much over this way, but in real life, I guess you'd be looking at all of this over here as well. So yeah, so they are all over the place for you to stare out at the animals. Yeah, wonderful pieces. So what else have I done? I've decorated our shops. Just some simple African decorations here. These are actually pots up here, but I kind of liked them. Just flip these ones upside down and put them together. I don't know what they're meant to be, but it looks remotely African and kind of cool. So I was quite happy with that. Just made a small sort of shelf out of these wooden pieces, and I've put in little plant borders where these gaps were. So just put some soil down and put some plants in. I put these giant rhubarbs in, even though they clearly go back and stick through the back wall. They're fantastic plants. They really, and they are an African thing, so they work really nicely. I think I can get away with having them sticking out like they do. I mean, most of these plants are slightly sticking through the back wall, but I think we can get away with it. I think they look pretty cool. And I wanted some foliage along here of some sort. It kind of made sense to have these gaps filled with some foliage. So that's what I've done. And then I've created the start of our support here. So you've got this sort of skirting board here of wood that comes all the way around here, and then just some simple wooden beams as supports to hold the whole thing up. And I will then continue that on these corners on the staircases. This is going to be a bit more tricky doing this side, but yeah, there we go. I think that looks kind of cool. And I've done this little display board here as well. Really, again, just very simple piece, just built into the wall here with 9 display boards on, showing 9 of the different animals that you're going to be able to see out here. So this will give you a bit of an idea of the animals that I'm planning on putting in the park. All the things that you would expect, all African animals that, as you can see. I think the flamingo is the only one that you'll find all over Asia, but if you look at the areas for all these other ones, they are African specific animals. And there will be some more. This was just 9 that I chose, but there will be some more hopefully, if my game is still running by then. By the time I've done this whole map, who knows whether I'll even be able to put animals in the park or not. We shall have to wait and see. But yeah, I just wanted that up there just to just to show the guests what to look out for when they're using our very cool looking telescopes. So yeah, I think that's coming along very nice. I'm really happy with how this is looking so far. Still quite a lot more to do, and obviously I'll be decorating up the top here with lots of trees and bushes and all my usual stuff, but for now I'm kind of happy with how it's coming along. So guess what, I'm going to go away and do some more. Quick update here. I've not done too much, but what I have done has taken me quite a while to work out. So firstly, I've done the wooden edging here. Now, because of the size of this path, I couldn't do a curved wooden edge here because the pieces just don't match this size of a curve. The curved pieces of these wall panels only do 4 meter pathing corners, so I had to do it square, and then I'll end up putting some sort of statue probably up on this corner piece here, and then use the wooden supports again. So obviously I've just sort of squared this off and put these supports on to make the whole thing look nice and solid, and I have done the same on this side over here as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I'm not quite finished yet. I've got a bit of decorating I think I want to do on here as well. Obviously I've filled in the gaps on the inside here as well, although I've just realised something's poking through there, so I'll work on that. There will be lots of shrubbery and stuff as well. But the main thing I did actually this time, as you can see, is this custom fencing down here and then all the way along the front here, coming all the way around this corner and up this stairs as well. And so I got rid of the other fencing. The main reason I did that, 2 reasons. One, I didn't like the fencing around this inside piece here with the shrubs. I wanted this empty. And yet again, we have the problem that when you put fencing on a path, it has to be on both sides. I really wish you had the choice of just doing fencing on one side of a path, because then I could have just continued the fence around the outside and not had it on the inside. Again, if you're listening, please put this in the game. It's such a simple thing. Please just allow us to play around with the fencing a little bit more, because I wanted these borders to be open, because there wouldn't be any need for fencing here because they're just small flower borders, so you really wouldn't need to keep people off of them. So because I had to remove the fencing on the inside, therefore the outside disappeared, so I had to do custom fencing. And so this is what I came up with. It's very simple. It took me a long time to do because it's a lot of positioning, because it's all curved, so copying and pasting is not an easy and quick thing to do. It is one big structure like this. It does take a while, but it's worth it. The result is worth it, definitely. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks African-y with these nice coloured posts, the patterned posts I should say. So I'm very happy with how it turns out. It just took quite a while to do it, unfortunately, but you know, nothing that's worth nothing that's worth it in the game comes easily or quickly. Unfortunately, you have to put time and effort into these things. So there, that's what I've done. It's coming together pretty nice. I'm relatively happy with how it's looking so far. Still more to do. I think I've got foliage probably to do next, and maybe just a bit more detailing on these pieces. I'm not too keen on these big blank walls here, so then I might do some decorating on here, I think. And I think the whole thing will look better once I start doing some more trees up here, and I will do some trees I think around the bottom here as well, almost to create a sort of a layer of canopy here and then a layer of canopy up here, and so this is in the middle, so it makes it look, not only is it on the edge of the cliff, but it's kind of in between two layers of foliage as well. That's sort of my theory, but we'll have to see how that comes together. So let me go away once more and do some more. Okay, here we go. I have now finished this end viewing platform, and I'm so happy with how this has turned out. So first, let me just show you my decorating. So I wanted to do something on these end pieces, and so this is what I've come up with. I actually haven't finished because I'm going to do something on this little bit here. But yeah, I wanted to use these big animal pieces. I think these are great pieces, and you don't really get a chance to use them very often, so I thought they kind of worked on here, as well as these little vines. Pretty simple little thing, but it just breaks up the squareness and the blankness of these walls. And then I've just done the same over on this one here as well. As you can see, just try to get as many different animals on here as possible, all different things that you're actually going to be able to see in the park. Again, I actually haven't finished because I am going to detail this this end piece here as well. But the main thing, obviously, as you can see, I've been working on is the foliage, and I'm really happy with how this has turned out. So as I said, I wanted some foliage underneath here, and so I went with the umbrella trees because they're just the perfect height for this, and they're also the right shape because they're kind of flat, which I wanted. I didn't want anything, so if you were actually standing here looking out, I didn't want anything tall that was going to block your view. But it's kind of cool if you were standing here that you could look down and see animals wandering around down here underneath the trees. But again, you can look out and not have your view disturbed by big trees, like, you know, if you had these big kapok trees, you know, right in front of you, it's going to block your view, isn't it? Or these massive what are these ones? I keep trying to remember. Baobab, yeah. So yeah, so I've gone with the umbrella trees basically, and I think they work nicely. I tried not to just, you know, make a line of them kind of thing, which is why I've purposely just, like here, you've just got a gap where there isn't a tree in there. So I've tried to make it look natural, and I think it looks okay. And then on the top here, again, I've got one of these massive trees as sort of a centerpiece, and then again just a few of the umbrella trees. And I wanted more of these rhubarbs as well, because they just look awesome. I mean, look at these massive ones, they just look fantastic. They're called Gunnera, these are. I have one myself in my garden. I have one growing in a pot. It's nothing like this because it's growing in a pot, and it's only a couple of years old, so it's not particularly big yet. But eventually, I'm hoping when I have my own house and garden, I'm gonna transplant it hopefully into my garden, and it will grow to this sort of size. And I do have them in one of my gardens that I work in, and they do grow to this size, and they are very impressive plants. So even in England, where we don't get the heat that they require, they can still grow to tremendous sizes, and they are just fantastic. They're the rhubarb family. They're giant rhubarb. Also known as Gunnera. So there we go. So a little bit of education for you there. Lovely looking plants. So yeah, so those are just dotted around up the top here, with a couple of these umbrella trees, particularly this one. I liked this one just overhanging here on the edge, and then just a couple more further back. A couple of these tamarind trees just to add a little bit of colour, but nothing too much. Big tamarind in the middle of this. I wanted a tree obviously where the path splits around it there. And then just the odd little bush here and there. Again, just not too much foliage. I didn't want to sort of crowd it out with foliage. Just a few of these nice little scavola bushes hanging over the edge. I really like them, just clinging to the cliffs here, and just hanging over, creating a bit of shade underneath. So yeah, there we go. I think it looks great. And I've also put some lights in, as you can see, just down the edge there. And then there are some lights underneath the rocks along here as well. So let me go to night time and show you what it looks like. There we go. So it's quite subtle, but that's all you want in a place like this, because you don't want lights right down here disturbing the animals. You just need them so people can walk around up here safely and see where they're going. And I think that works really nicely, having the lights here just pointing down, and obviously just a couple highlighting the stairs so people can navigate safely. So yeah, I think you'd enjoy walking around here, wouldn't you? I decided in the end not to put any sort of tables or chairs or anything along here. Actually, what I might do is put a couple of benches on the inside here, in amongst this foliage. I suppose I could get away with that, but I didn't want anything around the front, because this really would be a standing area where you're just standing and looking out at the animals. But now that I look at it, I think I probably could get away with a bench or two along the inside, so that may be something that I add later on. So yeah, there we go. I'm really happy with this. This is, you know, I had the idea in my head of what this was going to look like, but until you start building, you're never too sure whether you can pull it off and whether it's going to work and look good. But I think it's come off pretty nicely. I think that looks pretty good, and it's suitably different to what I've done over here as well, which is the main thing. I want each island to have its own sort of unique viewing platform. So obviously there's going to be probably something on here, maybe something here, and definitely something on here. So I don't know what those are going to be yet until some inspiration hits me. But I have still got a lot to do on this island. So all the viewing areas are going to be facing the lake, because this is the central part of the whole park, this lake. So you've got the viewing platform here looking that way, here looking that way, here, and here, all going to be looking towards the lake. So there's not going to be a viewing platform over here, for example, because there's nothing to look. And if you want to see over here, you go on the Jeep ride, which is going to take you here. And then this island here, there's probably going to be the Jeep ride coming sort of a full loop, I imagine, around this island. So again, if you want to look back here, you're just going to go on the Jeep ride. This island isn't going to have a Jeep ride. This one probably will, and again, it will just have a viewing platform somewhere around here, and then the Jeep ride that loops around the outside. That's my plan at the moment. So that's going to be it for this video. The next video is going to be this ride, obviously the rest of this island. So I've got, obviously the pathway needs to come along here. I have just plonked down this, which is copied from the first island. So this is my ticket office for the safari ride. So obviously that all needs to be linked in with pathways. I need to do a bridge coming over here, and then I've got a lot of decorating to do obviously on this island, finishing off all the foliage here, and then I've got this entire track ride to do. So there's going to be at least 2 more videos, I think, covering this island and this track ride, and detailing and whatever all over here. So yeah, there's a lot to do. So be prepared for a lot of terrain work and a lot of scenery work in the next couple of videos, but I'll try to keep them as interesting as I can, I promise, and I'll try and do something a bit different to what I've done with this first track ride. I don't know what that's going to be yet. We will have to wait and see what I can come up with for this one. But there we go. So that's where I am going to leave it for today. I do hope you like my viewing platform. And if I do extra bits and pieces to it, I'll come back and show you during the next videos. But for now, I am going to leave it there as it is, and I will bid you farewell. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you're enjoying my safari park. If you've got any comments or suggestions, please do let me know down in the comments. So yes, thank you, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. But until then, take care of yourselves, and bye for now.